Hi, my name's Jennifer Collier and I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful woven bag today. To do this I've actually used scraps of paper, so I'm recycling, and I've woven with the shredded paper. These I've actually got out of my paper shredder, but of course you can just cut up scraps of fabric that will actually be your weft of your bag. What I've done first is I've got a weaving card like this, but if you haven't got any in school you can actually just make your own for some recycled card. Here I've got some card from the back of an envelope, or it might be a packet, and I've cut it with pinking shears to get the zigzag, but you can just cut this with scissors. I've got my thread, and this is actually going to be the warp of your weaving, so I'm just going to tie this around like so, tying one end to the other in a double knot, and then I'm going to go around the card just pushing the thread through every single tooth like so. So you can just take a little bit of time putting this on, and I'll just go through every single tooth, and when I get to the very end I will just go back and tie my two ends together. So you should end up with this whole card completely covered with your thread, and then you're ready to start weaving. And this is one I've started already. So I've got my yarn, which is the warp, and then the weft is actually the strips of paper. And to do the weaving you actually go through every string, going under and over, under and over, under and over, all the way along. And I tend to say this under my breath as I'm doing it, so I remember which way I need to go. I'm just going under and over, all the way along, till I get to the very end, and then I can actually just pull my weaving up like that. And then I will get my next thread, and this time I'm going to do the opposite. Because I went under and over last time, this time I'm going to go over and then under, over and under, over and under, all the way along. So I'll just get right to the very end, and I'm sure you can see how when I keep doing this I will then manage to fill the whole weaving cards with strips of this recycled paper. It might be that you think about writing messages on these, or actually writing part of the story. It's entirely up to you how you want it to look. And when I've covered the whole of the card right to the end, to get it off the weaving card I'm actually going to use this, which is called interfacing. It's a type of very thin fabric with a glue on there, and the shiny side is actually the glue. So I'm just going to slide this between the two, in between the weaving and the weaving card, like so. I'm just going to put my work in between there, and using an iron I'm actually just going to iron over it till it's completely stuck. This will probably just take a couple of minutes to do, and I'll know when it's done because it's completely stuck onto the work. So I'll pop that iron off, and luckily I've got one here that I did before, and you can see how it's completely stuck. So I'm then able to flip my card over, cut the strings, the weaving will come away, and then I've cut with scissors a really nice neat edge around there. What I can do then is actually fold it in half, putting the neat sides together, and I can either hand sew along this edge, I might want to staple along there, it might be sellotape to actually attach it together. So when I turn it inside out, like so, you can see how I've actually got my neat sides on the outside and my messy sides inside. And I've actually used strips of paper to make the handles, but it might be that you do a hole punch and put some ribbon through, use recycled materials to actually have a really long shoulder strap, so it can look however you want, just using recycled paper that we've woven with.